Hi there, it's Cathy from Keynoteworthy, and today I have a very special guest all the way from the UK. It's, I think, in the morning over there, and it's it's 9 o'clock here, so I'm having a vino, and I don't mean to rub it in your face. You're having a tea, and I have like, I think, 10 teas a day, so I also have tea FOMO, if, if that's a thing. Um, but Lovelda Vincenzi, welcome. You're an international, you've got a lot of slashes in your title, like you're an international speaker, MC, entrepreneur, everything. Like, you're just so amazing. And so welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you. If you haven't had the pleasure of watching her MC, I'll just read a bit of her bio, and hopefully it's not too awkward for you. So, entrepreneur and international MC, moderator and host, Lovelda Vincenzi has been speaking and performing on stage since she was 13. With a background in event creation herself, Lovelda specialises in MCing and moderating business conferences and summits for organisers who want to create memorable events. Lovelda is a dynamic, witty, fun and entertaining MC who is an asset to any event management team. Now, what strikes me in your bio is that you have been doing some of this since you were 13. I mean, I remember when I was 13, I don't know, I had no clue what I was doing. I think I was still like, you know, what I did as a kid was I stole some neighbours' flowers and tried to sell it. So I was a bit of a crook. I didn't have the right, I guess, ethical business mindset. I had no idea what I was doing. But like, how did you start at 13, like at such a young age? Tell me about that.
Okay, so I started speaking and performing at 13. I didn't say I was doing this at 13.
Oh, okay.
So I was one of these kids. I loved drama. I loved debating class. Like, if you gave me a stage, I was all over it. It was dance.
Wow.
It was drama. It was speaking. I know, like, I actually really had to think about it, but I remember finding a photo of me at high school. I would have been 13 years old. And I was speaking to an audience of 300 people, like just at the front. Like, I think my mum took the picture.
Yeah.
So it is true. Like, I was speaking on stages since the age of 13, but not necessarily with this in mind. Like, I hadn't started going, I know what, I'm going to be a professional speaker. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. So what I knew at the time was acting was a thing and performing was a thing, but did I know that there was such a thing as moderating or hosting, MCing event? Like, it wasn't something that my careers advisor ever told me about. Like, here's a job that you could do when you grow. Nope. Did not appear in the career advisor's book at all.
Wow. So did your, I guess, parents have anything to do with this? Because I know, like, for myself, I had a really strict upbringing. So performing on stage or anything that's creative was like out of the question. I was not allowed to do that. I had to do something that was, I don't know, like something really boring, like accounting or something like that. So did your parents have to do anything to do with your kind of energy and, you know, being able to perform and be comfortable in front of people?
Yes and no. So my parents were definitely the sort of people who were like academics. I learned at my wedding, my mother pulled me out of ballet because my grades were slipping. My view of that is my mother pulled me out of ballet because she had a fight with the ballet teacher. Like, that's how I remember how things went down. And mom was like doing my speech at my wedding saying, Lovelda's grades dropped, so we stopped her doing ballet. And then she got really upset. And I was like, but then her grades improved. And I was like, that wasn't the thing, mom. Like, you're telling the story wrong. So my parents were definitely focused on academia. But at the same time, they always encourage us to do lots of extracurricular activities. So I was on the athletics team, and anytime there was drama or something creative, arts, well, not so much art. I wasn't so great at that. I liked the pottery and the gossip, but the actual, like, here, paint a picture, like, not so much. But I've always had that kind of creative mind. Performing drama, like performing and dance, were definitely my two favorites. And I was fortunate enough to be given enough space when I was young to do that. But my grades had to stay up. So it was kind of like a yes and no. I remember when I told my mother, I think I want to do drama or whatever, she said, you can come back to that when you grow up. And I thought, Mum, it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work
Frustratingly, my aunt, her son's an actor. And when she wanted him to do nursing, my mum said, no, you got to let the boy do what he wants to do. I'm like, really, Mom?
What about me?
I did a degree in accounting and financial management. Do I look like an accountant to you?
So then what did you do after you finished studying, what was it, financial management and accounting? Which seems the complete opposite to performing.
It totally is. I thought I was going to be in hotel management, but apparently that was, what did I get told? It wasn't clever enough. It was too, I can't remember the word, but it wasn't academic and clever enough. Like anybody could work their way up to be a hotel manager, but not everybody could be an accountant. So I kind of convinced myself, I thought I wanted to come out of university and do management accounting, started an accounting degree. Literally within a couple of weeks, I remember thinking, hell no. But if I know my mother enough to know if I called her and said, Mom, I want to change my degree, she'd have told me to wait it out. And I would have waited out so much, I would have added another year to my degree, because once you're so many weeks into it, they don't let you switch. So I thought, well, there's worse degrees to have and never use.
Like an arts degree.
Finished a degree.
No offense.
Yeah. So I finished my degree in accounting, got a reasonable grade, then went to work, because that's what you do. I worked as a project manager for a few years, kind of started in project management. Actually, my first role was an account manager, which is a sales job. Then I did project management, customer support, and then back into sales again. So I did sales for about 8 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. And while I was doing sales, I thought, this come into work thing, like I'm done with this trying to climb the corporate ladder, playing around with the internal politics nonsense. I think I'm going to start my own business. And I must have started a good, like 4 or 5 of them. Like, I'm not even going to lie. I was that person. Today, I know what I'm going to do. Property management. No. It's all about stocks and shares. Oh, I'm going to try multi-level marketing. Anybody want to come and buy my thing? Like, you come into my like program. And, I mean, I did a few different things. I did event management for a while. So I created events. I've created a fashion show, like in a month, high level private fashion showing for a couture designer. I did my own private events for a while. And I learned that I loved the hosting. I didn't like all the rest of it. I was like, oh, screw that. Like I like the hosting bit. I didn't like the logistics. I didn't like the filling the room piece, but when people arrived, like the actual on the day was great fun for me. I thought I was going to coach creative entrepreneurs for a while, because I'm creative. So I did that for a bit. And then things started picking up speaking, because I would host events for other people. Like they'd say, oh, come and do this for me. I had a radio show. So it was lots of little bits and pieces of things that I remember for years feeling like, shoot, I mean, girl of all the you're pretty smart. Like how you can't get this right? Like, why is it such a hot mess? But what I've come to see years on was everything I've done up until now has just served me so beautifully for allowing me to do what I do now so down well. And I think it's so easy when you're on the journey to look at the hodgepodgery of it. And mine was not like a straight, it was just what has hosting a radio show for 18 months unpaid got to do.
18 months.
What you're doing now. 18 months. And it wasn't, don't get me wrong, it wasn't even easy. I had to leave work, travel for an hour and a half to get to this radio station on time in rush hour traffic, to host my own show that I didn't even know I wanted. Somebody just offered it to me. They were like, do you want your, I thought I was going to do a segment, and they said, do you want your own show? So I made something up, and next thing I know, I'm like, I have a radio show. But it served me really well because I moderate. So, so I'm now like, oh, it was fine. Like sitting with people and asking them questions. I've got very good at being quite curious, and I got to cut my teeth at that.
How did you start out as an MC? Because it's quite specific. Like a lot of people think about being a speaker or moderator, but like an MC is quite specific. How did that come about?
Again, very accidental.
Mm.
So, so at the time, I was running a business whereby I was bringing creative entrepreneurs together, and I was doing a lot of business coaching. And I had a few friends who are in the event industry, similar sort of things. That were like working with public speakers, and occasionally I'd be asked to, Lovelda, can you come and run the club night? So yeah, sure, no problem. And I remember my friend saying, "Oh my God, you're so good at this," and I thought, all I'm doing is like just, hey, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't realize there's naturally a lot of ticking in here going on, like calculations, like unconsciously competent. And then what I would do is if I pitched for something and they didn't have the speaking space, I'd say, oh, have you got somebody to introduce the speakers? I could do that. And then people would start asking me to do it. And I think the first time I moved from this being like the side gig thing to maybe I should take this seriously is when my LinkedIn profile started attracting people asking me out of the blue. And the day that somebody contacted me from Paris saying, can you come? We're doing this event. It's going to be about 3,000, 4,000 odd people. And we're looking for some hosts. We're wondering if you could help. Is the day I went, wait a minute. I don't tell people I do this. Because I hadn't said I'm a host and a moderator. I think I had speaker on there. I had very limited footage or anything of me. I'm like, I genuinely don't know how these people are finding me. And then I thought, wait a minute. So I can travel the world doing this. It's like my favorite things. I get to speak. I get to meet people. I don't have to fill a room and I can travel. Sign me up. Maybe I'm going to stop taking this as a side thing and just tell people it's what I do. So that was my journey. I didn't come out of uni or, wasn't 5 and thought, I know what I want to do. I want to introduce people on stages. I think it found me. It turned out it's something I'm very good at. And I didn't have to work for it. So it's like, if I'm not even telling people this is what I do and they're finding me and I'm getting really great feedback for it, what if I just put in like this much effort? Like, I don't even have to go for it. Let's just see what happens if I just, maybe put this a bit more to the forefront. And it kind of took off from there.
Yeah, wonderful. And the beauty of that is you don't have to prepare slides or memorize anything. You just need to basically feel the energy of the room, isn't it? And read people. What else
Well,
is
it
involved?
depends.
I mean, I'm really naive.
It really does. It depends on the event. Actually, sometimes the host works 10 times harder than the speakers, to be honest. So if I am, let's put it this way, if I'm introducing people to moderate a panel, for example, there are multiple different personalities at play, none of whom I've met before, often none of whom have met each other before. And I'm to make that feel like a seamless conversation without going outside of the boundaries of their individual knowledge, but I've never met them before. And when you put different personalities in a room, it's like when you're having a house party, you invite people of a similar energy, right? So like if you want something that's going to be really upbeat, then you invite one sort of group of people. If you're kind of more like, oh, I want an evening dinner party, you invite a different group of people. But what happens when your party person and your dinner guest are now on the same panel? And you've got to balance those two energies. So there's a bit of prep beforehand to understand what's the dialogue the event organizer is looking for, because they will have an editorial theme that they were anticipating by putting these people with their varying expertise onto a panel. I then got to interview each of the individual speakers so I can understand the depth of their expertise or the breadth of their expertise. And what I mean by that is I look like really stupid if I ask them a question about something because I haven't done my research, and their response is, well, I don't do anything to do with that. You're kind of like, boom, like smash into a brick wall. So there's a lot of that stuff going on before you get started. People's names, those are always fun. So there is some prep in terms of reaching out and understanding people's names. So it really does depend on the event. The main difference with the moderator or the host versus the speaker is from before the event starts to after it finishes, you're on. There's no downtime, there's no breaks, you're keeping stuff to time, things are moving. So whilst you say, oh, there's less prep, if it's pure MCing, it's just the intros that require understanding and making sure that you read them, you understand what people are about. But then what if a speaker arrives late? What if a speaker doesn't turn up? What if the panel now has got to be longer or shorter.
Yeah.
In those sorts of scenarios, you're also a problem solver, right?
Yeah.
So for a speaker, it's not your freaking problem. For the MC, it isn't currently your problem.
And everyone's looking at you. Yeah.
So you kind of get absorbed in the event management team of the organization, which is slightly frustrating because people will ask you, so what time is this happening and what's happening there and when do I need to be here? And then you go and talk to the stage manager, and they've never told the stage manager that they're adding 3 slides and there's a video in their presentation. So the AV team are now not set with any of that stuff. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes with a good host. Helping it to look seamless when things are shifting sometimes every few minutes. Like I did this one in Paris earlier on this year, and I swear to goodness, there was this one session, and up until the 11th hour, it kept shifting. A new person was being added. Well, there's no time to wrap your head around who this person is and what they do because they've just been added.
Yeah.
And now we're going to put a presentation, and actually that 10-minute segment, can we split it into a Q&A, and then we've got a presentation, and so now you're coordinating a whole freaking choreography that doesn't look like people kind of like, so now if I can just invite such and such, you kind of got to make that look slick.
Wow.
And when it's changed at the 11th hour, you've got no time for rehearsal. So now you've got to make it look slick with the smile on your face as if it's normal, as if you knew this was happening for the past 2 weeks, but they just changed it 3 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get on with it. So there is and there isn't prep. And what I would say is there's probably more prep than most people think about. And the reality is that to be a great host, you kind of got to be a little bit unflappable. Like you got to see all of this stuff going on and still be like, hey, like, welcome. This is going to be really great fun.
Yeah,
never mind
dying
that people
inside.
have just, like, I don't know how this segment's going to go, folks. Like, I don't even know if they're here yet. Like I was supposed to be introducing such and such, but they just swapped them out. Like, thanks for sending somebody different to the person you told us 3 weeks ago. So there's those sorts of things.
Yeah. You almost need to find the humor in it as well. Like, oh, wow, this is like a massive F up. Like, how grand is this F up?
I like problem solving.
Yeah, true, problem solving.
I like problem solving it. I was one of these people. I told you I wanted to be a hotel manager, and my father actually talked me out of it. And I remember once one of his tactics to talk me out of it was to have me watch this documentary on hotel management, see the chaos of it. And I was looking at it like, oh my God, this is so cool. So I'm that person, like when everything else is flapping about, my brain just is like, okay, so what can we do? So what if we do da, 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 da? But if you're the sort of person that loves that kind of structure, then some events are just going to be chaos. Like stay away from fashion, because that is like, I had to be like, I'm not doing fashion anymore. It's crazy back there. It's crazy.
Yeah. So talking about chaos, I think the world is in a state of a bit of chaos. And I think it's a bit of, media sensationalizing everything. And also individuals and their own mindset as well. Like some people have never experienced this sort of pandemic before or any sort of adversity in their lives, so are finding it really hard to cope. And social media doesn't really help as well. Like, in this age, people are scrolling endlessly. So just on chaos, the speaking world is basically disrupted, and in a world where it's mostly physical face-to-face events, and now everything's turning to more and more virtual. What's your view on that? And like, you seem really positive with everything, you're not really bothered by it. I saw you on LinkedIn saying, let's pivot, let's kind of think differently. What's your view?
So my view is that every chaos is an opportunity for the creative person. And I was about to put out a piece of content that said, look, if you watch the media, they've always got some sort of agenda. And we all know that there are certain sectors that are doing really well. I'll give you some classic examples. Anybody who manufactures toilet paper at the moment, they're inundated. Like inundated. There's no toilet paper in any shops anywhere, ever. Anybody in the hand sanitizer industry is inundated. anybody, if you think every organization is suffering, how many people do you reckon have been downloading Zoom meeting in the I mean, their downloads have gone through the roof. So it becomes a matter of where is your focus. And if you're focusing on what's missing, then of course it's going to seem like the world is going to tits.
Yeah,
of course. Right. I'm not completely delusional. Have events been cancelled? Yes, I've been impacted. Like I was supposed to be doing one of my, like the biggest gigs of my career in the US, and it's been postponed. I had another one coming up. Of course, that's been postponed. So all of my physical events are like up in smoke too. I'm not immune to it, right? So I'm not living under a rock and not immune to it. And at the same time, even within an industry that looks like it's being shook up, there are sectors that are booming, and those who are creative, innovative, and looking for solutions are going to find results. So right now in the speaking industry, for example, let's put it this way, organizations who are used to having their employees work in the office now don't have that. So if you are in HR at all, and they've got to navigate this landscape, HR stuff has gone through the roof because companies are trying to navigate how the heck they deal with this stuff.
I'm from HR, in HR. I write about HR.
So
my English is bad today.
Pick me. So anybody in the HR sector, anybody who talks about mental well-being in any regard.
Yeah.
Emotional well-being, mental well-being, anybody in the health space at all. So anybody who's dealing with either medical health or physical health, they're going to do well right now because people are stuck at home and they want some way to kind of move. Anybody who is, yeah, right. Anybody who deals with technology, is going to be quite useful right now. So it's what it is about understanding that what people are focused on right now is different. So if you can serve those people better, if you can understand what is it that they need, like my audience aren't focused on physical events right now, but they're pivoting to do online events, and they may need a moderator to help moderate those online events. Well, guess what? I interview on podcasts. I interview on, I have my own show. I'm okay on camera. Like this sort of thing is actually also very fun for me digitally. I can still do the same thing I do on stage and do it differently and support organizers who are looking to continue to engage audiences between their postponed events. It just means we've got to think differently. Like you're not going to be able to take your speech and sell it to somebody in the same way right now. The second thing is it's a great opportunity for speakers to build better quality relationships. And I think this is what people forget. So we know in retail, for example, if you buy something and it doesn't work out and they manage to solve your problem beautifully, you're loyal to the freaking core. Right? It was like the customer service was so good, I ain't never going nowhere else. These people, I am a loyal customer. I'm not going anywhere else. I stayed with T-Mobile for years, because their customer service was just so good. Like even when I screwed up, they'd still give me back my money. Like you went away, you used your data. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize that was the case. And they're like, it's okay. We'll let you off this time. Have your money back. I never went anywhere else. Yeah. I used to spend a mint on my phone back in the days. So they had a very happy, very loyal customer. In these times now, organizers are struggling. If you're going to be a dick, then you're going to struggle to move things forward. But if you can be that person, like I'll give you this one for free. One of the things I've been telling my clients is pick up the phone to any organizer who's ever booked you and simply ask them how they're doing. Seriously, just ask them how they're doing. How are you? Like just on a personal level. I have sent emails to people saying, look, shit's going down. Like it's crazy out there. Like I'm just wondering how you're doing, not just business wise, but how are you? Because I can almost guarantee you most people are so caught up in their own little personal bubble, worrying about the own thing that's going on, that they're not creating those moments of really deep human connection. And it's those moments that are going to stick in people's memory. Like you were the person who thought to reach out and actually ask them how they were doing. And when you come out of the other side of this, because you actually give a hoot, you will be more top of mind
Exactly.
when the competition is going to be rife, because this isn't going to be here forever, but it is going to be here for a while. And in that time, when you come out the other end of it, competition's going to be crazy. Also, there'll be speakers who are now double and triple booked. So there'll be events opening up that weren't open before. Now, if you can get in and use this time to build really great quality relationships with people, because you just care, like, how can I help? Offer some service. Be like, just think beyond yourself for a moment, just like maybe like half a second. But it will
Yeah.
really, really seriously pay off to take that time to do that. And then the third thing in terms of how I'm staying positive and frankly ridiculously busy is the thing about being a successful speaker is you're on the move all the time. So normally your digital profile is a little bit behind in terms of who you actually are, because you've done so many events and you've collected all this footage and you've got photographs and you've got blah, blah, or you just never bothered polishing up that website, or you've never bothered centralizing all of your bios and your photos. And so I'm doing a lot of work with speakers at the moment, well, on my own business, but also with other speakers. Essentially go, listen, folks, listen right now. Now is the time to do all that stuff so that you are like, it's like spring cleaning time for speakers.
Yes,
Like,
I was
get
just
in the
gonna
back there, roll your sleeves, get your rubber gloves, find your polish, and like, it's time to clean it up. So, I see opportunity where other people see fear and frustration. And so I'm working with speakers I'm launching a program called Pivot Your Speaking Business, where I'm taking the bazillion ideas I can't implement myself and pretty much going, here, somebody please do something with this, because like I can't do them all. And helping people to think of like, how do I actually navigate this space quite comfortably? I'm open to help people with their show reels, because I get that. So show reels, video footage, if you're really ready to tidy up the back end of your speaking business so that it works effectively, because mine works like a well-oiled machine and like a system queen, then get in touch. Like that's my shtick. So I'm loving right now. I'm like, look at all these things I can do back here.
Yeah. And just on that, like, I feel exactly the same way with Keynoteworthy as well. There were a lot of initiatives that I wanted to do, but because of this whole coronavirus situation, it's given me a massive kick up the ass to get shit done, basically. So, for example, I wanted to do an online course for speakers. And initially I wanted maybe to do it like at the end of the year or something like that. So now, like, I'm furiously writing, I'm designing it, getting in touch with experts just to get it out, because this is something that people need. So like what you said, it's just helping other people, because like, it's so easy to be in your own bubble that we forget about that human connection, and we forget why we are speakers in the first place, and it's to connect with people, to share your expertise and to help others improve their lives, improve their businesses, or whatever it is. We've essentially forgotten about that, so it's a good reminder. What was my next question? In terms of technology and everything like that, now that we are kind of doing a lot more virtual stuff, what's your go-to technology?
Zoom.
Okay.
I love Zoom meetings. I think it's great. I think it's, now it's really busy. I know they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to like get more infrastructure and capacity in place to deal with the upsurge.
800% apparently since the beginning of the year.
They're having to. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's people discovering Zoom who've never used Zoom before. What is Zoom meeting? And why Zoom is so, like, the work they've done up until now means that the coronavirus is the best thing that's ever happened to their business. They're just like, let's lock everybody away. Make companies work from home. Like, let's see how freelancers are going to work. Let's see how these smaller businesses are going to operate. Everybody's on Zoom. So I'm a huge fan of Zoom meeting. You can use Zoom or Skype. So that would be my go-to technology for creating things. Social media is great. My only caveat with using social media platforms is what you get to see right now is the crowd of people that you're around and what their mindset is. That is it. Like, who are you attracting in your community? And so social media is great if you have a profile where every time you go on it, somebody's putting something funny or interesting or uplifting, different way of thinking of things. Maybe they're sending you things like, oh, okay, this person, like I went on mine today and I saw somebody who was like doing these dance classes online. I'm like, how the frick do I join? So that's what appears on my profile. Here's some dance classes. It's a gym. Like, you know, I've got a friend of mine who's in the back of his yard with a big stick. I don't know what it is that he's learning, but he's doing all this flippy stuff with his, you know, I've got people like just posting funny memes and stuff. So my social media feed does not actually feed my fear. And it doesn't feed my fear because over the years, I think I've just not I don't stay really closely connected with people who are just saying, oh, and then look, you know, here's how you get even more government help. And, you know, here's another problem that happened. And, you know, and if those are the people on your feed, now is the time to remove them because they'd be in your energy circle and they've been there for a while. So it's a really great time to spruce up online profiles. So I'm back on, like, I'm looking at social media right now, actually having quite a bit of fun with it, where I didn't really have the time for it before and it felt quite mundane. I'm now like, I'd quite like to play around with this. But yeah, my biggest frontline tool right now is, for me, it's anything to do with connecting with people. The other tool I will mention is a tool called Pipedrive. It's a sales CRM tool. And the reason why I mentioned it is because it's great for helping you to track your sales conversations. If you're reaching out to people and they're saying, oh, that's really great, you know, we're planning on coming back in October, or we're looking at the beginning of next year and we'd like to do some interviews in between then, or whatever it is, then at least you can track those conversations.
Yeah, that's really important.
So for me right now, it's connection, anything to do with connecting. So I'm on social media platforms meeting new people, and then I'm on Zoom talking to new people, and then I'm back on the platforms meeting new people, and then I'm using things like Pipedrive to help me to track those conversations, because I now have more things that I know what to do with. Like, I've got interviews coming up, I've got magazine publications. So if you're using the time to use those platforms appropriately, then you can get put yourself in a really great position for when you come out of this. Like, don't think you need to be on stage to build your profile. You can do it very sensibly behind the scenes. And if you set up the groundwork, then when you're back on stages, you'll be using those platforms even more effectively and growing your profile even more effectively. And that's going to be really important for standing out, to be a bit more social media savvy. And it's also where all your clients are going to be right now, because they're not at the networking events. There's lots of pop-up networking events where people are using Zoom to do networking meetings now as well. But again, they're all advertising online. So the internet is like some sort of meeting tool. And I think the third one is a scheduling tool. You're meeting a lot of people in a lot of time zones now, because you don't have to stick with your own time zone. Being able to easily identify what time zone they're in, or making it just really easy to do that booking process without that becoming a stress. And there's a number of, I don't need to recommend them, there's like a number of really great ones out there that you can start from free to paid. You don't need to make it overly complicated. They plug into your diary, show your availability, and allow people to just book directly in without any stress. So those sorts of tools are really incredible.
Yeah, so it's basically just using technology to get your systems in order, get your operations in order, so that once this is over, then you're ready. But I also love
bada
your
bing, bada boom.
Yeah. But I also really love your advice earlier on. It's just pick up the phone and asking people, how are you? How are you doing? And just that genuine connection and continuing with that. I think that's really beautiful. So what's next other than your Pivot Masterclass?
So I've got a few things going on. I've got Pivot Your Speaking Business Masterclass. I've got a speaker's guide to kind of navigating this space. Most of these are in like a register your interest mode at the moment, because I've got so many things to create. I'm also, believe it or not, I'm doing an incubator called Find Speaking Gigs Incubator, which is all about finding speaking engagements. And people think I'm crazy. And they're like, oh my gosh, like, should you not like bump that? Like, nobody's looking for right now. Like, all the organizers are like, they're not doing this stuff. Here's the truth of the matter. Vast majority of speakers have zero system for finding speaking engagement, like zero. Like they're not looking. They don't do anything to find those speaking engagements. There's no sales system at all in the business. And that structure does not get set up in 2 minutes. It's like deciding I'm going to go on Instagram and now I'm going to be an Instagram genius. No, you kind of have a bit of legwork you need to do to understand how to leverage a platform effectively. So if you're not normally a salesperson, if you're not a natural salesperson, if everything you've done up until now has been referral only, then the Find Speaking Gigs Incubator helps you to set up those systems. Now, the pivot in it, well, there's two things. Firstly, I throw in all the things I'm creating right now are just included. So you get included in the Pivot Your Speaking Business Masterclass. So we'll have that conversation. You'll get the Showreel Secrets Masterclass. It's like $2,000 worth of additional stuff. I can't even remember what's in it. It's a lot of extra things to help navigate this time frame. And what we'll do is we'll use a lot of your previous clients to help you to bed the system in. But the person who's going to do really well is that person who is preparing now to be ahead of the curve, not the person who comes out of it and then is on the wrong side of the curve. It's like the stock market. As soon as it's going down, when the prices are most favorable, the people freak out and they sell. And then when it's on the way up and it's harder to make money, people are like, buy. It's like you're buying at the highest price, right? So right now is a great time to do anything infrastructurally in your speaking business, right? Now, you don't wait until the industry's picked up again and it's all guns for leather. And then you kind of go, now I should build my speaker brand. That's the other thing that's included, like a total full profile review. The easiest way to find out about what I'm up to and how I can best serve is just get in touch. Like just Google me. I have a name that's so easy to find, or drop me a message, lovelda@lovelda.com. Done. I just make it simple. But message me, we'll get some time put in the diary. But the main thing I want to say to any speaker is now is the time to be up in your game, getting yourself ready. Like if you're a speaker and you've downed tools, like it's the worst thing you can be doing right now. If your tools are down, then I would say you have an incredible show reel that converts like crazy right now. Your website is like the bomb diggity and it's just driving traffic, something crazy. If I go and Google you, you're going to be in the top pages of Google. You've got a great YouTube page. Your social media following is like bada bing, bada boom. The phones always blow up for you. You never have to look for anything. Like if that's your reality, great. But if that wasn't your reality, if it was all referrals based, if you haven't got any video footage of you at all up anywhere, then now is the time to get on with that stuff. And if you're stuck with any of that, my forte, all of it. Like, that's how I built my business from the ground up with like nothing. And I've had some incredible experiences introducing celebrities, interviewing celebrities, big events, small events, international events. Like I've cut my teeth on the whole lot, and I did a lot of the stuff in the back end myself initially. I'm very good at systemizing, so I'm here to help. And I'm sharing a lot of stuff on my profiles and doing drop-in sessions and a whole bunch of stuff at the moment.
The coffee catch-ups. What I noticed is that there's just so many speakers that don't have videos of themselves, and it just amazes me. Like it's like a wedding band or something like that. Like speakers are basically entertainment. And if you haven't seen them before or have an idea, like why would they book you? So now is the time to basically spruce things up, get your social media in order, get your show reel out there, do it now, your website, everything. Definitely. So stop scrolling the internet. Shit done.
Stop watching the news and scrolling the internet and work on your business.
Work on your business right now. Like that. We won't have time again later on. I mean, you can make time, but like, thankfully, coronavirus might not come later. But now is the time. So, thank you so much for chatting today. It's really good to talk to you again and to see you again. I actually love these Zoom calls because I can get an insider sneak peek into what people's houses look like.
What's going on back there? And yes, I did wash my hands.
Oh, thank you.
Just see it now.
Oh, okay. Don't touch me. Well, thank you so much for virtually coming in today. So I'll provide all your links to your profile in this video. And so thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.